That'll just be my face for starters.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Gideon Shalwick here. A bit of a delay for us to get started. Normally, I'd like to get started a little bit sooner. No stress though. We've got everything going smoothly for us today. And of course, I've got the wonderful Tom Breeze with us. Before I introduce you to Tom again, some of you will have met Tom already. Make sure you introduce yourself in the comments. I think it's over there or that side, whichever side. Where the comments are, introduce yourself, have a bit of a chat. Hey, everybody, welcome, Gideon Shalwick here. Let me just pause myself there for a second. So make sure you get into the comments area and have a bit of a chat, and soon I'll introduce Tom to you as well. Okay, so let's see, where are we going? In fact, I'll have a proper introduction to this because everything going smoothly for us today, and of course I've got the wonderful Tom Breeze with us. Before I introduce you to Tom, okay, my apologies. All right, so that should be all sweet now. Okay, so I'm going to give it a proper introduction with a nice logo animation and stuff like that, and then we'll get going. But before we do, I just want to make sure that you guys can actually hear and see me, and then we'll get the ball rolling on that for us. So if you can hear and see me, just say hi or yes or something like that so that we can get an indication. And I think I've got to wait a few seconds for that to happen before we get started. So I'll just wait a few seconds because there's always a bit of a delay with these things. I'll call out a few people while you do that. We've got quite a few people on the call today. Fantastic. We've got, wow, a lot of people. Alan Benny saying hi. Angela saying hi. Angela Milliken. Travis Forrest, welcome. Haley, welcome, Haley. Now, I'm not sure how to pronounce this one. Aki Osling, that's a cool one. Good evening, Aki. Jamie, welcome. Valerie, Julius, welcome. Paul and Travis Forrest, welcome. Jonas, welcome. Wow, a lot of people here. So I'm getting a lot of comments coming through. Yes, so everybody can see and hear me. Welcome, and I won't have time to call everyone's name out, but welcome to the call. Very excited to be sharing some great stuff with you. Since we're already past the hour a little bit, I like to start on time, so I'm not going to mince with words too much at the beginning right now. I'll just get straight into it and introduce Tom to you. So once you're ready, we'll do it. Okay, here we go. Welcome to another very exciting interview that I'm having with another friend of mine, a very special friend of mine, Tom Breeze. Some of you will have already seen Tom and come across Tom before. Today we're going to talk about how to get your video ads approved by AdWords. So if you've had any problems or issues with getting your video ads approved or your landing page approved, today should solve all of that for you. So stay tuned and I'll introduce Tom to you in just a second. All right, so with me I have the wonderful Tom Breeze. Tom, why don't you say hi?
Hey Gideon, how are you doing? And hey listeners, or viewers I should say.
Yes.
I hope everyone's doing very well. It's midnight here in the UK, so it's a different sort of time that I'm normally used to, but hey, I'm completely ready for this.
Fantastic. And you know, I've been having so many chats with Tom over the last year or so since we've both been very interested in YouTube video ads. Sure you go and watch Tom's previous interview as well. That was just a very eye-opening one. But I wanted to get Tom on the call today again and ask him about this whole how to get your video ads approved. And not just the ads, but also your landing page. And perhaps if there's time, also talk a little bit about some key little things you can do for helping you improve those conversion rates for an AdWords compliant landing page. So Tom, I guess we've already gone through the big introduction with you, but is there something that you quickly just wanted to say in terms of an introduction for you today?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, if you, I'm sure you've kind of heard of me before through Gideon, and we've done some interviews before in the past. If you haven't, then my background is I run a YouTube ads agency. So I do a little bit of training. I'm getting more into the training side of things. But I suppose my bread and butter, the business that I run, is an agency. So we work with a ton of different clients running hundreds of different types of different campaigns. Normally, well, I say about 95% of it would be through YouTube advertising. We do kind of tinker with a little bit of other type of advertising, but we've been we've been through lots and lots of different landing pages, lots of different videos with clients, and hopefully, the information I've got with you this evening should answer a lot of the questions you might have, especially if you've had a ad disapproved, or you've had a landing page or your website disapproved or even suspended, and what to do about it, and how to kind of make sure you get a ad running again. So yeah, I suppose that's kind of me in a nutshell. But if there's anything else that Gideon, if you feel like I've missed anything out, let me know.
No, I think you did a pretty good job with that, Tom. I think we're all just so interested and excited to be hearing from you today, because we've had a lot of questions from our viewers, from our members, about how to get their AdWords landing pages compliant. And as we know, that's Google is pretty strict on that sometimes. So we're all just really looking forward to hear what you got to say. I've had a bit of a talk about it previously, but I think it's probably quite elementary to what you'll be sharing with us today. So really looking forward to that.
The pressure's on.
Yeah, no pressure. So I understand you have a bit of a presentation that you'd like to show us, just to help explain your thoughts on this.
See my slides now, Gideon?
Not yet. So if, I can still
What do
see
I
your
need to
face.
do?
You probably just need to
Okay.
share screen, yeah.
Yes, of course. Okay, perfect.
And by the way, please feel free to chat amongst each other in the chat area. That's what it's there for. We probably won't be able to answer too many questions there. I think JC is in there as well. Let's see his name pop up there earlier. JC, of course, was one of the other co-founders along with Sophie. So JC might be able to answer some of the questions for you, but Tom and I will do our best to open up the calls, the lines, at the end of the call, to bring in some nice audio and video calls as well. Actually, I'm not sure if we'll be able to video, and I'm not even sure if we'll be able to do audio, but with two people talking already. But we'll see. If we can't do that, then we'll flick back to the text area for specific questions there. All right, so Tom, I can see your slides, so I'm going to flick over to that, and then
Great stuff. Okay.
and then I'll hand it over to you.
Great. Okay. So all good to go. So basically, what I want to talk about is getting Google compliant. I think this is a big issue for a lot of clients, especially if you're used to things like Facebook advertising and what you can get away with there in terms of landing pages, some of the products and services you can promote on Facebook, and other platforms as well. And people do tend to find that Google is a lot more strict, I suppose, as to what can and cannot be shown. And the way I look at it is that Facebook, Twitter, any other form of paid advertising other than Google tends to be a lot easier. But you are kind of dealing with a little bit of the Wild West, I would call it, in terms of the fact that when it comes to Facebook advertising, you can get away with a load of stuff, and then all of a sudden your account will just be banned overnight, and you're not sure why, you've lost everything, and there's no support, you can't talk to anybody, that's just the end of it. It's a very different ballgame with Google. Google have been around for a lot longer, know the paid ad game, and as a result, they've got a lot more policies in place to make sure that the actual platform stays as efficient and as effective as possible in terms of serving ads, but serving good quality ads. And I see a lot of people getting really angry with Google because they keep on disapproving ads or keep on disapproving landing pages or websites. But you've got to remember, it's not Google that's necessarily doing it. They are a lot more strict, but it's because they're much bigger and they've been around for longer. And they have to play by international rules, like the governments, etc., and say what they think can and cannot be said. And if a company puts out a big claim and Google says, well, it wasn't us, that doesn't wash any longer. Google takes the rap for it as well. So as a result, Google's policies and their I suppose the barriers they put in place, they will vet certain ads themselves, and as a result, they're kind of dealing with this day in, day out. You can pick up the phone and talk to Google at any time and discuss it with them and try and understand why. So the support is unbelievably amazing. So they do want your money. Don't get me wrong, but it's not normally Google that's stopping you. It's the policies that they've had to put in place as a result of just being a much bigger engine. So you're dealing with a much more sophisticated engine. So when people say I'll get really annoyed with Google, it's not necessarily Google or YouTube. It's more the fact that they're much more robust and much more of a powerful engine, so to speak. And this is the way that will go for every platform. So bear that in mind. You won't be able to kind of just put up any old sort of Facebook ad in due course. They'll start putting their as soon as they start making more money out of it, they'll start having better support staff there, start having better policies, etc. So it will become across the board, across all different types of paid advertising. They will all catch up, but it's great to get it right on Google now, because then you're getting it right as you move on into different platforms. But let's talk about getting Google compliant, and I want to kind of cover a lot of different bases here, because I know that some industries will just be able to kind of put up any sort of landing page they want, and it'll get approved within a couple of hours, and you'll be surprised at what they can get away with. In different industries, it's a lot more difficult to get an ad approved and get a landing page approved, and for good reason. Some industries are more difficult to get approved and need more verification. Say, for example, if you're a surgeon and you're advertising and you're putting big claims up, that would be a very different type of policy that Google would have to look at compared to if you were just going to be doing something that's run of the mill, like selling a coffee somewhere, for example, or something along those lines. And so you can imagine different industries mean different policies, and so that does play a factor. But I mean, I do want to talk about, first of all, why this is important, and I've made some kind of additional notes, because I normally talk about this with a lot of people in the room, but I might, like, say for example, I'm giving a live seminar, there'll normally be I might be talking to a lot of network marketers or affiliates, and so there'll be a different type of presentation I'll give, or different information I'll give, and I presume on this call we've got a varied range of different people, so I kind of made a few notes here. One of the really important thing is, obviously, you can't run your ads if they're not approved. They'll just will not run, and that's one of the biggest reasons why you need to make sure you are Google compliant. The other thing that's really important is longevity. So what I mean by that is that if you have a good history with Google, you'll find you can actually build your website, build your kind of landing pages, and you'll get away with more, because they'll be able to trust you, and you'll have a rep, and they'll just know you more and more. So the more ads you get approved, the more history you have with them, you'll probably find you can get away with more than the rest of the competition. So it's good to be on the good side of Google all the time, and build that with them. On the flip side of that, if you kind of start an AdWords account, and the first ad you put up gets disapproved, and then you submit another one and it gets disapproved again, it's almost like you're testing Google. And I've seen it before where people keep on testing, sometimes unwittingly, and what ends up happening is they just get their account banned or suspended, and then banned after review. So be careful of that. Be careful about how you approach it, and it's best to just get on the phone every time you get a disapproved ad, and just discuss it with them, and then resubmit it through them as well. That's normally what I do with my clients. Because I'm not sure if this is true or not, and I've heard a lot of AdWords specialists talk about it, is that if you keep on submitting ads that get disapproved, you can find that the quality score of your whole account can be more problematic. So you can get you can have like problems in the account in terms of quality score is kind of like the quality of your ads, and the better quality they are, you'll end up finding you'll spend less compared to the competition if you have a better quality score. Whereas if you keep on submitting ads that get disapproved, there's a rumor going around in the AdWords world, and it's been around for a long, long time, is that if you keep on getting disapproved ads, your quality score just naturally is a little bit lower, and it costs you a lot more to advertise as a result. So bear that in mind.
I've got a question, Tom. Is there any differences between getting approved for a normal AdWords ad compared to a YouTube video ad? Are they more lenient at the moment for YouTube ads, or and do you think if they are, will that change in the future as well? Just a quick thought on that.
Yeah, I mean, you can get away with a lot more on YouTube, I believe. As I said, I do, in the agency, I kind of run 95% of our ads would be YouTube ads. So that's kind of the primary kind of like area that we focus on. But I know that I've got a client that has submitted the same landing page that we're promoting through YouTube, and it's approved on YouTube, and it's not approved on normal text Google ads. So that's not down to the ad itself, it's more down to the landing page, which is interesting, huh? So
Landing page,
so it's
not the ad. Okay, the landing page, right?
Well, very, very rarely is it the ad that you'll get disapproved on. It's normally the landing page that gets the disapproval. Very rarely is it the ad,
Yeah.
unless you're doing something like swearing or showing a naked body in it. That's when you could have a problem. So yeah, I have that. I have had that issue, not the swearing, just the naked body.
Okay,
But yeah.
so that in general for your video ad, the actual video doesn't necessarily get approved. It's more likely going to be your landing page that gets disapproved.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that that's now. Give it 3 4 months. I always say to people, give it 6 months, and the rules will be different. Now I'm saying, give it 3 or 4 months, so it gets shorter and shorter every time I say it.
Yeah.
But no, when it comes to your what you can get away with on YouTube, you will find that will change over time. I mean, for example, in-stream is just what I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it's more difficult than it is with in-display. In-display, you can kind of promote pretty much any landing page you like within reason. The reason being behind that is that with in-display, you are promoting a video. So you're saying, can people watch this video? With in-stream, you're saying, I'm promoting this video to get people back to my website. So your website becomes more important with a in-stream campaign. An in-display campaign is a lot more difficult to get a landing page approved through the kind of AdWords process. So that's kind of a slight difference between in-stream and in-display as well. But over time, I can see them both catching up. I can see that in-stream will become more stringent, and you'll be playing like you would do on Google. And in-display will also catch up, I believe. I'm not too sure on that one. It's a slightly different type of advert.
So that's something that we did mention yesterday when we chatted, Tom, that we want to touch on that a little bit. But if I could just quickly show people on the screen the difference here between just to remind people of the in-stream ad and the in-display ads and what the difference is. Of course, with the in-stream, people click on your ad, they go straight to your landing page. But with the in-display ones, they don't go to your landing page, they go to another video on YouTube. And then from there, you can direct them to another page. So if I can just show you as an example, if I go to which one will it be? Number 2.
I've actually got a slide for this. Would it be easier?
Yeah, that would be way easier. So
let me just
do that.
Scroll. Okay, so let me go here.
Sorry to jump ahead. We can get to that later as well if you want to, Tom.
Hey, the questions come up now. Let's deal with it now. Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So this is. Are you back on my slides now?
Yeah. We're still in your slides. So I'll just go for it.
Okay, cool. So this is kind of what YouTube looks like, right? Here you've got the in-stream. That's like the pre-roll ad that comes up before another video, and so you're paying there. And if anyone clicks that video at any area of that video, it'll go back to the website that you've determined inside of AdWords. That's the Google Display Network, slightly different. But this one here is the in-display, and also like that video will come up rather similar in a similar way when you're on the search results page as well. So you typed in a search at the top of YouTube, and there's normally 2 ads at the top. Those ones come up in a similar way. They're also called in-display. They used to be called in-search, but they're both called in-display now. But that's kind of like as soon as you click in display, it will open up a video on either your channel or on a watch page, it's called, which means it's just kind of like a video with less clutter around it. And from there, people just watch the video. And of course, you might have a call to action in that video that would send people back to your website if you wanted to. But really, what you're doing is within Stream is you're saying to Google, here's the landing page as well. Can you go and promote this video to get people to my website? Whereas within display, you're kind of promoting your video to say, can I just get more views to this video, please? Then if you do have a call to action to go back to your website, great, but that's not really Google's kind of focus. They just want to show the ad, really.
Okay, great. So sorry to interrupt there, but I think it was an important distinction there to just point out, and I'm glad you've covered it so well in your slides. All right, so I'll leave you to the rest of your presentation now, Tom.
That's cool. Do you like how prepared I am?
I'm very impressed, but I'm always impressed with you, Tom. So
there you go. That's in display for you. There you go. You can see that there now.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's kind of what they look like when they come up. I'm just too good at this, Gideon. Okay. Now I've got to find my other slides again. Hang on a second. There we go. Back to here. Okay. So why is it so important? So yeah. So obviously to run ads for the longevity, and also when you get a website that's been approved by Google, or a landing page that's been approved by Google, and it works, it's just that it's a lovely feeling because you're like, right, I can promote that all day long now and not have to worry about that. And I can send lots of different types of ads to the same page. I can make variations of that page, and you're going to be fine. But then, obviously, if you don't get approved, there's a few things, the reasons why that might be. And what I want to do is go through what the common problems are. And there's going to be, I mean, we could be here for hours if we wanted to be talking about all the different reasons why you might not get approved. I want to kind of cut off or take out here the main reasons why most people won't get approved, especially when it comes to YouTube, and talk about that. And of course, if there's specific things I haven't covered, then of course we might be able to tackle those too. But it's kind of like the 80-20 rule here. Like let's talk about the 80%, if not more, and make sure that we kind of cover those because that's probably going to be where most of the issues lie.
Makes sense.
So one thing I want to make sure is that if you've actually had a website that's been banned or suspended before in the past, that's always going to be a lot more difficult. You've got to resubmit, you've got to go through Google, you've got to go through YouTube, you've got to kind of let them look at it. It's a manual review. It can take quite a long time. What I tend to say to people, if you've had a suspended or banned website in the past, you're best off just starting up a whole new landing page on a new domain for AdWords traffic. You're better off kind of doing it that way, as what you might find is that you just might not get approved. You might not get back on track with your website, or if you do, it might take you 6 months. So be aware of that, and it's sometimes easier just to set things up on a whole new domain with a new account. Now, I say that with a kind of tongue-in-cheek to a certain extent because Google still don't really like that. They don't like the fact that you've just switched over. But if you know why that was a problem in the past, maybe you just submitted too many disapproved ads and they just said, you know what, we're just going to suspend your account. That's not so much of a problem. If they really don't like your business model and you've had some shady dealings in the past or something along those lines, and they had a right to close you down, then I would say you're still playing that a bit of a dicey area because and suspend you again. So just be aware of that. You could go as far as to say, if Google and YouTube are such a big lead generator for your business, it might be worth looking at it and saying, well, is it worth starting up a new company with a new website so you just know you're completely clean? Because I know that some businesses run off Google and YouTube, and if you've had an account suspended or banned in the past with your company, try and sort it out. If you can't sort it out, it might just be worth doing that as a new approach. But that's kind of quite drastic measures. Very rarely do people actually have this problem to this level, but I just wanted to cover it.
Cool.
Most of the time it comes down to some main topics as such, and these are the ones I tend to see with my clients if they want to promote a particular type of landing page and it's an issue. One is information harvesting, and we're going to go into this in more detail, but information harvesting is basically saying there's not enough value for you asking for someone's name and email or email address or any details from somebody. If you're not giving enough value or not telling people what it's about, or not providing enough value in terms of Google's perspective, that transaction of here's my free stuff for your email, that won't work with Google. You have to make sure it's nice and clear what you're giving to people, and you don't just say click here to find out more. For example, you've got to kind of explain a little bit about what physically they're going to, or not physically, but what they're actually going to get. What tangible thing are they going to get? It's going to be videos. It's going to be a report. It's going to be kind of in what format does this information get packaged up as, and how will they receive that? Will it be through email? Will it be kind of through a webinar? What might it be? That's where you'll tend to find that webinars get really easily approved because people just think, oh, well, they're going to get a webinar, that's easy. The information will be on that webinar. So you do tend to find that sort of thing you can get away with a lot more if you're promoting a webinar than if you're promoting a free report sometimes, which is odd, I know. But yeah.
That's very interesting. So webinars are easier to get approved than a normal squeeze page. But if you are going to go down the squeeze page, for both cases, a normal squeeze page or a webinar, you want to make sure you've got enough information there that I guess it comes back to the experience as well. That's for the user, the viewer, that they get a good experience when they get to the landing page. It's not just the only thing that they can do there is give their contact details, and then Google would think that's just information harvesting. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, and there's kind of periphery edges that you can get away with some stuff on, right?
Okay.
So, and that will change over time as well. So, what I mean by that is that I know I've got some landing pages that I'm running for clients that it's only a matter of time before those pages need to be changed, right? Okay, so, um, we won't really get caught on information. I say caught. We won't get problems with information harvesting as such because we're giving very good value. But sometimes you get to pages where you're like, I'm not even sure why I'm giving my name and email here. And that will be considered in Google's eyes. Well, that's just information harvesting. That's you're just giving your name and email away, and you're not giving any value. Um, and and that's kind of more of a it's kind of that sort of situation can be a bit problematic sometimes because it's very well. Say for example, they said right, you don't have privacy policy on your page. Great, you can just quickly do that. If they're not happy with it's a bit more grey. It's not black and white any longer. What information harvesting is or isn't. It's more down to the kind of Google kind of perspective, so to speak, and what they think. So you're kind of dealing with a human decision making process as opposed to you haven't got a privacy policy, therefore we're not showing your ads type scenario. So that's kind of like it's a there's ways around it basically. But if you get caught as such for information harvesting, you need to make sure you're providing a little bit more value on the page.
Okay, great.
And tell people what you're getting and what they're getting as well. One of the biggest ones that doesn't actually come up so much any longer because they phrase it slightly differently these days, but it used to be user safety. And user safety is kind of it can fall into the same bracket of information harvesting to a certain extent, but user safety more falls under the bracket of obviously what it says on the tin, like the user isn't necessarily that safe. We had a problem with user safety when we were working with a surgeon, because you have to kind of be very, very clear with what's actually being promoted here, because it's information that people put their kind of lives on the line for, so to speak. So if the information isn't backed up, so say for example you said, 95% of our well, we had a laser eye surgery client that had exactly this issue, and they had a very strong kind of claim, which was 95% of their patients get kind of 20/20 vision after going through their laser eye surgery process, and that was all. They did an independent study, and it was all true, but they hadn't published this independent study on their website. So as a result, it just looked like a big claim from Google's perspective, and it wasn't backed up by anything. So from that side of things, they said no, you can never say that because it's too much of a big claim, and that's normally what it comes down to with user safety. It's big claims that can't be backed up, like the words proven. A lot of people use that, never works out well, because unless you've got like data on it that could be displayed on that same page, you're not going to be able to get away with it. So I'll kind of avoid proven, all those types of words that would kind of indicate that this is kind of the way it is. And big claims that can't necessarily be verified, Google will look at that and say, well, we've got to protect our users from a perspective of if we're letting this person show their ads, it better be right for them to be able to show those ads. So Google will take that responsibility on.
Question, Tom. If you are making some sort of claims and you're able to back them up, can that something like that be acceptable? So even if you make quite a bold claim, but then back it up somehow, is that acceptable? And what kind of proof would be required to have those sort of claims be made acceptable, or do you just kind of stay away from them altogether?
Well, what I would do, if someone's got kind of like some amazing proof, I'm working with a hypnotherapist at the moment who sells a course, hypnotherapy for weight loss and lots of other products as well. And he has some amazing results. He's been featured on TV many times, and so he's got this like wealth of credibility behind him. He's had scientific papers done around his results, etc. And so what he does, he puts a little asterisk there, straight away underneath the bold claim. He puts another asterisk saying, to see the proof, click here, and it goes through to another page that would just be all the proof on one page. So it'd have like all the different bits that people have said, whatever credibility you can build in there that backs up what the original claim was all about. And then from that perspective, Google are happy with that. Remember, it's rather like the way I look at it is like, okay, so I don't know about you, Gideon, but when I was like 18, or no, when I was 17, I used to have fake ID to get into pubs and clubs.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'm always trying to cheat the system in some way. Yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more. This is something I don't know about you, Tom.
Yes, actually, we could get into a rabbit hole here. I've got to keep on track. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure we've all done it. Where you have like the fake ID, you have a friend that produces it for you, and like, wow, this is incredible.
I've never done it.
No, of course, yeah. And then you get to like the front of this door, and they say to you, "Okay, ID, please." And then you start sweating like you would do as a 17-year-old, and looking all panicky. And then what they do is they look at it, and then they let you in, or they look at it and don't let you in. The way that I look at it is that it's almost like the manager probably speaks to the bouncers of the place and says, we need as many people coming into this place as possible. Or the manager says, I can't be dealing with any problems with the police, don't let any underage in here. And then it's down to the bouncer's perspective of whether they let you in or not. And Google is rather like the bouncer. Okay, so they're kind of getting told by the kind of the financial institutions and stuff like what can and cannot be said in advertising. But they're not going to crack down on the small business owners necessarily too quickly. If you're starting to earn a certain amount of money, then they will crack down on you and bypass Google. But they put Google in power of that. Google got so big, they said, right, you've got to take some responsibility here. So Google kind of look at it, and they're kind of the go-between sort of thing. Sometimes they'll let you in, sometimes they won't, and sometimes you can be getting away with stuff that you didn't think you'd be able to get away with, and great for you. But it's only a matter of time before that bouncer comes into the club and tries to find you and says, right, you're out. So it's kind of, the way I look at it is that it's kind of just be a bit wary of the fact that even if you do get approved by something, still put loads of kind of proof in there, but put as much credibility as you can into it. And if you're slightly on the edges of what is not properly meant to be advertised, or if it is, you've got to have everything behind you. Make sure you've got all that in place. So if you are a surgeon, it's going to be more difficult for you. You've got to put all the credibility down there. You've got to put all of it into place so they can see it and know that you're a credible business. They know what you do as a business, and you're not just kind of saying promotional information without having it backed up, because you're playing with people's lives, and it kind of transcends across to lots of different types of industries. But that's the way I look at it, is in terms of Google will sometimes let you in, sometimes may not let you in. So it's not always clear on what it is, but when they don't, they normally give you a very good reason that you can go and do something about it to change it and get back online with your advertising.
Jason, just wanted to quickly remind you, Tom, that this is being recorded, so we've got you down for like ID thing, just letting you know.
It's just another little thing out the bag, yeah. As long as you don't get the big bits out the bag, that's fine, yeah.
It's all good. All right, let's move on.
Safety.
Yeah, okay, let's move on.
And the other one is this is what Google is starting to use more and more as their default "you haven't been approved" type excuse, and that's misrepresentation of self, product, or service. And this kind of falls. User safety tends to fall under this one now. But it's the omission of relevant information, so kind of holding back certain information, which will take out the context of what you've said. Kind of, it's a bit like spin. If you look at like journalists, they'll use spin quite intelligently sometimes. Like, so a big, let's say for example, a headline on a paper might get your interest, and you realise that actually the story's nothing to do about that headline, but it got you interested in the first place. Google don't like that, obviously, for promotional reasons. So there's any relevant information that's been omitted, they won't like that. It's a bit like, I didn't realise, but what you can do if you're a medical research company and you're being funded by a big company who's a pharmaceutical company, you can go out there and present, like go and do all your research about some medical thing, and then all you need to do is just show some results as to kind of why that new medicine is great for curing a certain disease or something. But you don't have to show them all the other bits of information that kind of medical trial may have kind of had awful results in other cases. They don't have to publish any of that. They just publish the good stuff. But that's kind of, I think that should be cracked down on. But in this instance, you can't go and do that. You can't just say, oh, we get amazing results, when one person out of 100 has got an amazing result and 99 people have got a terrible result. You can't just use that one person and say, oh, look how good we are. So omission of relevant information, misleading or unrealistic promotions, that's like big claims again. And some of those claims can, in your eyes, be quite small. In some of the viewers' eyes, I know that people say, that's not a claim, that's just the truth, though. you got to remember that Google are looking at hundreds and hundreds of websites. If they see it and they don't like it, they'll just disapprove it quite quickly. And unavailable promotions. So say, for example, you promoted something and said, oh, it's now run out for a scarcity reason, and then said, but you can sign up here for our early bird for our next product or something. They don't like that. You can't do that. And untrustworthy promotions, that's kind of pretty self-explanatory. Those, out of all of those kind of points there I've put on the page, those are kind of what cover most of the issues that we'll see from our kind of agency clients and also from our training clients. Very rarely will I see anything outside of that. And if you do ever get anything outside of that, or any of those really as well, I would say pick up the phone and speak to Google. They're brilliant. They just like talk you through it and let you know what you need to change. And as a result, you've got the advice and you know what to change. And then before you resubmit, I'd actually call them again and say, okay, I'm about to resubmit. Can you have a look at it for me and make sure that you're happy with it? And you can really just talk it through with your Google people. You don't have to have a personalized rep or anything like that. The teams there will kind of be able to help you out with that.
Yeah.
But those typically fall under the banner of what most of the issues are when it comes to promoting an ad or a landing page.
Just a question about that, calling Google. Tom, is there a special place where you can find these phone numbers for them where you can call them? Back here in Australia, it's not always as straightforward to find staff from Google to talk to. It might be easier in the UK and in America, but what is there a special place where you can find these numbers? How do you go about it?
Okay, so in the UK, it might be different if it's in Australia. I'll get a proxy and check it out. But what you can do is you can, when you're logged into AdWords, you just go to the top right-hand corner. You'll see, I think it's the cog there, or it might be your name. Just hover over one of those, or click one of those, and it'll have a drop down, and it'll have a telephone number there. And so it's simple as just calling that number and talking to the right person.
Too easy.
What you could do, if Australia are a little bit backwards, as we all know, Gideon.
Well, in some things we're forwards, but some things are not, like the internet, for example. But
internet, that's what I meant. Oh, God, yeah. I didn't mean anything else by it. I just meant the internet, sorry. Yeah, apologies to any Australian listeners. But so if you are in a more remote country or the internet's not very good, what you might want to do is kind of get a VPN or a proxy and sign in from a different country, perhaps. I don't know if you can do that or not, and then get in touch with someone from the US, perhaps, and just call them on Skype or something. That might work. I'm not sure. That's something I probably should test before I say it. But yeah, that's something you could potentially look at.
Okay, very good.
Cool.
What's next?
Okay, cool. So let's talk about how you get Google compliant and what things you need to have to make sure you are Google compliant. And I'm going to focus more on the landing page here than I will be the ads. Just to let you know with the ads, the reasons I've got disapproved in the past, and I've done so many ads, I don't know how many we've done, probably over 500 now from just like each client, etc. But with the ads that we create, a couple of things that we've had issues with, and we've never had issues with big bold claims or anything like that, so you can get away with what you say in the ad right now. It might be different in a couple of months, but what you can't do is show any type of nudity. So we had a client who did breast enlargement, a plastic surgeon, and even showing kind of like the word breast, I think it was, even written as a word on the ad. They didn't like that because it kind of falls under that bracket of, is it swearing, is it kind of, it's an appropriate word or not. But also we had pictures of not breast, but we have pictures of like breasts with bras on, etc.
So is this now in the actual video for their campaign?
That will be in the video itself, yeah. So I just wanted to briefly discuss like swearing and nudity. And I haven't done this one, but any like reference to drugs of any sort or supplements, those sort of brackets are what probably you won't be able to get away with showing in an ad, in actually the video ad itself. So if you're doing any of that, that might be an issue. You might want to skirt around that a little bit. We had a client who did therapy for premature ejaculation, of all things. We get some strange clients sometimes, but my mind's going off on a different tangent now. Let's keep on track.
Stay on track.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so with that, we had to be a little bit clever about how we were phrasing it. I put up a video for that particular client on that topic, And I thought we're probably going to get this disapproved, but let's see what happens. And we made a backup video just in case where it didn't say some of the words like ejaculation, for example. And when we did that, we used the word ejaculation in one of the videos, and it was approved. I was like, oh, great, okay, perfect. So we never had to use the second video, but it was almost like, do you find it's all over too quick? When it comes to kind of being in the bedroom, something. So you can kind of skirt around the issue, and you kind of, if you're targeting the right sort of audience, you'll know that you'll get away with that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can play that a little bit and be a bit careful with that. And to be fair, it might be different with in stream and in display. In stream, you might find it more difficult to get away with that sort of stuff. In display, might be easier. I'm not too sure, but yeah, just those are the kind of areas that I would focus on for the actual ad. If you got your ad disapproved, but that's very rare. 9 times out of 10, if not more, is going to be the landing page. So
great.
this is kind of like a bit of a step-by-step through the ways of looking at a landing page and what you should have. I'm going to be talking more about an in-stream landing page because in display you can get away with more. But if you're going to run it in-stream ads, then there's a few things you need to make sure you do have on your page. If you do have big claims, you need to make sure you've got disclaimers close by. So anything, if you've got a kind of like a big claim, so at the start here, I don't know if you can read this clear enough, but it says at the top here, it says how to start a profitable online business starting from scratch. Now, that could be considered a claim, and you might have a slight issue with that. So underneath the button, inside that same box, which is the grey box, you'll see there's a kind of a disclaimer, just highlighted there with the green arrow, and underneath as well, that it says individual results may vary, no results are guaranteed. Please read our disclaimer at the bottom of this page. So you just people kind of ignore that to a certain extent. But you will find it's different in different countries. So with some countries, like in the UK and the US, I know in particular, we see these disclaimers all the time. And we kind of just bypass them. We know, we're not stupid. We know that kind of some of this stuff exists. That people will say big claims, and that's fine. We don't have to trust every single one of them. But in some countries, you don't have to have their disclaimers. And so when you put the disclaimers in there, you'll find that people start reading them, and they're like, "What? Individual results may vary." So it's kind of like in different countries, it can be different things. So if you're running big international campaigns, you might find that with disclaimers in there, it might have a slight impact on the conversion rates. Yeah, normally what we do is put disclaimers on there, make sure that they're close by the claims. So if you've got a big claim, don't wait to the bottom of the page to put your asterisks and results may vary in the disclaimer there. And then at the bottom you might have a link to your disclaimer, your actual kind of disclaimer for your business. And of course, for that, if you're going to get a disclaimer for your business, then you're probably going to want to get some legal advice on that, of what you can or what you should be saying. I don't want to really advise too much on that front because I don't want to that's the sort of area that could catch up with me if I say anything incorrect. So just go and get legal advice on that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, if I was, I wouldn't be telling you I was trying to get into nightclubs before the age of 18.
Right. Yes, we've got that recorded, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The next thing is make sure you've got navigation going on your pages. So here you'll see at the top of the page, there's navigation to different pages on the website. Of course, it's always better to have a bit more of a fuller website, so not just a one landing page standalone. That said, we get away with it. We've got plenty of clients that have got one-page websites without navigation on them. It does depend on the industry. But if you're kind of an affiliate or if you're a kind of network marketer or fall into that category, then you will find you probably want to have some links going to different parts of the pages. Now, of course, all of those pages that you can click to should obviously still be asking for exactly the same call to action. So getting people to, in this instance, they're downloading some free videos. All those pages should be basically focused on getting people to sign up for those free videos. So you won't find you'll lose conversions from doing this. But keep that in mind. Like sometimes you do need to have a bit of navigation, and there's a few things you need to have in your navigation, which I'll talk about in just a second.
That's interesting, Tom. I'm just wondering if it's worth showing people. Well, the question I have before I show people is that for my Splashio site, for example, we have the navigation thing, but we don't necessarily. The navigation structure doesn't necessarily link to the same call to action. So that's interesting. Mm-hmm. I wasn't aware of that. That it's okay to do that. So what you're saying is that's fine, number one, but also you'll get much better results if each of those links, they're separate pages on the same site, but they they still work towards the same thing of getting that same call to action happening.
Yeah, exactly. So, the text is very small there, so it might not be easy to read, but you've got kind of the navigation at the top of this particular website says free training, about us, how it works, clients, FAQ, services, and get started. So obviously free training, get started. They're pretty much going to be exactly the same thing going on there.
Yeah.
But some of the big ones are like about us. Google will love that because they're like, oh, you're a serious business, and you might give things like contact details, etc. away. What I wouldn't do though is have lots of links there that will mean that people can go off down the rabbit hole and go on somewhere completely different before they've actually got the videos. What I would say that each page is designed to go back to getting people to sign up for the free videos or whatever your offer is. And doing it that way, you can give more information, but all that information sells the opt-in, and it's the same opt-in. So you know that you've just got a mini website as such, all doing the same thing, and it's just capturing your leads. That's kind of just have that focus of doing that. We've never really seen too much of a drop in conversion rates. There's sometimes a slight drop in conversion rates, but that's normally because the other pages that you can link to aren't as strong and need to be improved. So if you look at your analytics, you can sometimes say, oh, people have gone here and then they haven't converted. So yeah, that can be a slight issue, but a quick tweak of the page and a quick improvement of the page, and you're back to kind of high conversion rates again if you do it that way.
Okay, brilliant. So cool.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, big claims and disclaimers. This one's another one which is kind of could be go in the footer. So T's and C's and privacy policy. Let me just see if I haven't put it in there. Let me just, and about us and contact us. So T's and C's, obviously terms and conditions and privacy policy. Again, I would go and get legal advice of what to say in those things. But what I tend to do is I would tend to put a footer right at the bottom of the page. And have it might be if it's like a black footer, I might have it in grey text, just so it's not a distraction at all, and have like a varied number of links there that you can have, like a click to your T's and C's, which can even be in a pop-up window. You can have your privacy policy, again, could be in a pop-up window, and you've got disclaimers as well to have there as a link in the footer. So it's just there for Google's perspective. They're like, good, you've got it, great, that's fine. Remember, it's kind of like the bouncer looking at the ID card. If it says that you're the right age, it's like the bouncer's got an excuse to let you in. It's like, oh, if your ID says it, that's fine. And a bit like with Google, they just kind of want to let you pay them more money. So they're going to say, great, if you've got privacy policy, that's tick the box. Yeah. You don't have to be like really obvious with it and be in the middle of the page or something.
So just want to clarify on something. When you talk about having that link there at the bottom of your page and making it, if you have a black footer and make it grey text, it's probably not a good idea to make the text black as well, so it's kind of invisible, right? Because that there's some other SEO things that are not good for that. But so it's still got to be visible, right? So, but maybe not as glaringly obvious, or so that distracts people from the main message.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of, if you hold in your mind that Google wants to take your money, then but within reason. Do you know what I mean? They're kind of say, we want to take your money, but if you've got black text on a black background, that just looks dodgy. Do you know what I mean? It just screams like in front of Google, I'm trying to pull the wool over your eyes, and this is my strategy for doing so. Google will find that out, and it's an easy way of finding that out anyway. But what I would say is that you're best off just having it there legitimately, but don't make a big song and dance over it. Just make sure it's nicely subtle. It looks good, and it just kind of fades into the background. There's not too much going on there, but it means that they can look at it and say, that's good enough, tick the box. But it'd be good for your perspective in terms of conversion rates, because you're not going to find that you've got another distracting link there. It's just something that people can potentially see, but probably won't click. You're playing the game that Google want you to play to a certain extent, but you're playing it strategically. You're not pulling the wool over Google's eyes, basically.
Very good. So tell us more, Tom. This is very interesting.
Good. Okay. It can be quite a dry subject sometimes. It's not as juicy as some of the advertising strategies, etc. But this is the essential stuff that's really, really important to get right. About us and contact us are really important to have. So anything about you that you can use, that it feels like there's an actual human being behind all of this, the business owner, etc., that kind of is a good tick in Google's box, and they'll appreciate that. And remember, this is kind of like this is not a sometimes it's like an accumulative thing. So say, for example, if you just had your page and Google were really umming and ahhing whether to give you the kind of give you the approval or not, what they can sometimes do is look at it and say, do you know what, I'm just going to disapprove it. And it's a manual review often. But if you had an About Us link, they might have said, do you know what, yeah, I'll go on and I'll approve this. And that it could be like that sometimes. It can be like, it's like an accumulative thing. You have more and more things. It's like, not all the boxes have been ticked, but that's good enough for now. We'll keep that going, sort of thing. So yeah, you'll find that with the number of things you get right, you'll get away with a lot more. Put it that way. But About Us and Contact Us are good. So I'd always have a physical address that people can contact you, a telephone number, and an email, and a person as well they can potentially contact.
Telephone number as well? Like, can you get away with not having a telephone? I guess having a telephone number will be much nicer and you'll get approval much easier, but it's of course okay not to have a telephone number, right? Okay, I think we might have just lost Tom there. Let me just check the connection. Yeah, I think we've lost Tom. Okay. So while Tom is getting back, perhaps let us know in the comments area what you think about this so far. Maybe you already have some questions that you'd like to ask us, and we'll be able to look at those in not too long from now. Still waiting for Tom. I think I might just actually disconnect the call with him and try and call him back and just write him a quick message. So call dropped, and let's see if he's back. Let's try that. So just ringing Tom again. Please let us know if you're enjoying this, if you're finding this useful, and whether you think this is going to help you get your pages approved much easier now, and whether you've got any other questions. So hopefully you can all hear me still. I'm just struggling to connect with Tom here. So Gil is saying this is a lot of work. Gil, I think it's interesting. Yes, it might come across as a lot of work, but you only do it once. You only have to do that once for a product or for a business, and then from there on, you can just borrow from that. Like the terms and conditions, your contact us page. A lot of the elements you can just borrow from for any new landing pages. But if you put this in perspective as well. You want to be driving long-term traffic here, and you want to drive very highly qualified traffic. This is a relatively small hurdle you've got to jump through to be able to make this work. And we've got Tom calling here, so let's see if he's back. Hey there, Tom.
Hey there, Gideon. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was my connection or yours, but what we do know is that you're back, which is fantastic.
Good stuff. Okay, cool. Can you see my slides again?
Not yet. We can still see your face, but let's just see if the slides coming through.
Okay, should have them now.
Yep, it's just loading the screen. So I think you were last talking about the contact us page, and that we were talking about the phone number and stuff like that. So
yeah, okay.
Then we lost the call.
Okay, cool. So what I was saying is that when it comes to About Us and Contact Us, yes, try and have your name, your address, your email, telephone number, anything they can use to contact you as a kind of physical address, because that's a big tick in Google's mind. That's always useful for them, and they can kind of give you more of an approval status. I would say that what I was saying, I don't know if you caught me on this, or if you kind of caught what I was saying, or if it disconnected beforehand. But with
another revelation.
No, it wasn't that good. I was just saying that if you're running quite a shady business and you're working from home, don't put your home address. That's obvious. Yeah, but that shouldn't apply to anybody here, so that's all good. But no, anything that you can have on that.
Just out of interest, is the main reason that Google will follow you, or will other people who I guess it'll be anybody.
Someone can track you down, basically.
Track it down, yeah.
I think it makes them feel more comfortable with the fact that if you shared a physical address, you're not going to be a fly-by-night kind of business that could set up shop, make £1 million, and then leave the next day and be in a different country all of a sudden, and no one could track you. Right. Obviously, you've got a physical address, that just sets Google's mind at ease a little bit more. It's another thing to have on the page that just helps them feel more comfortable. And to be fair, if you're a legitimate business, that's kind of cool as well. I mean, like, people feel more comfortable if you can share telephone numbers and physical addresses. And we've seen it before where you have on the checkout page, and that's a big point, by the way. In terms of conversion rates, always look at your checkout page, because that's something that people drop a lot of sales on that front. But by having your physical address on the checkout page, that increases conversion rates on the actual checkout page. It gives them that extra feeling of security. They feel like, okay, cool. Not only you pay with like one of your recognized payment methods like Visa or WorldPay or PayPal or something along those lines. It also makes them feel comfortable to feel like, okay, the support is here, the telephone number's there, the address is there. It just makes people feel more comfortable and therefore buy more often. So it's a good thing to have, I think, anyway.
Right. Yeah. Makes a lot of just normal business sense as well. And I think a lot of this stuff is just, as I think I mentioned this earlier before, just by going through this and creating a solid AdWords compliant page, you actually become a better business person, a better marketer, and it forces you to really think about how to be a good businessman or business person. So it's great from other aspects too, other than just getting approval from AdWords. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. I mean, and I just want to stress here is that you can of course get away with not having this stuff on your page, but I don't know for how much longer. It's a lot easier to just get this right now and work with a slightly lower conversion rate, but have that comfort of the fact that it's not the rug's not going to be pulled beneath your feet, and you know that you're going to have got that sturdiness to your campaigns. And the longer you're around, the more money you spend with Google, the more that they'll appreciate you, and the more you can get away with. And as a result, it's just kind of you can call the right people, you can talk to them, and it just works a lot more effectively.
Fantastic.
So one thing that is a little bit more, this kind of lends itself to more affiliate marketers as well, is that you need to try and make sure that you have your landing page and your thank you page on the same domain. If you don't have your landing page and your thank you page on the same domain, that can be a problem. That can be a big problem sometimes, and Google don't like it. Again, I've done it before where I've had a landing page that's not on the same domain as the thank you page and got away with it. But this is one of the ones where as soon as they pull it up and they say, actually, hang on a second, your landing page and your thank you page is on a different page. As soon as that happens, they don't like it at all. So what sometimes happens is with affiliate marketers, they might say, I've got my landing page. Once they go through the system, they land on the people that we're promoting land on their thank you page. So that can be a slight problem sometimes. I've seen it where normally if you're promoting a product and the person who's got the product, who sells the product or the service, they're normally savvy enough to work that one out and make sure it works with you. But sometimes it's not the case, and so you need to be a bit aware of that. And you might need to kind of create something so it's like on your landing page, and then your destination is on your domain as well. So the thank you page is on your domain as well. And then work out a way where you can get the traffic back to the affiliate page, like the affiliate's offer. So that can sometimes be a slight issue, and that has to be a workaround, I suppose, internally within the affiliate's business, so to speak, and work out how that can be kind of sorted out. So not as easy, that one.
So I guess a way around that is to just basically create a site that you completely own, right? And so when someone sign up and on the squeeze part of your page of your site, that you control that whole user experience. So you send them to your own thank you page then as well. So and then from that point onward, then you can introduce them to your affiliate products or affiliate links from that point onwards afterwards. Is that something that you'd recommend as well?
I'd recommend that anyway, because I mean, whenever I look at an affiliate page that I might be interested in promoting, I don't know, 9 times out of 10 I'll look at it and think, do you know what, it's not much work for me to improve upon that landing page. I can probably do a better job than they're doing right now. They might have a brilliant product, but sometimes they're not promoting things in the most effective way. You can probably improve the copy. You can pretty much clone their page to a certain extent. Obviously, don't completely copy them, but that means that you can normally get a higher conversion rate than them. You might be able to offer different products, maybe add a little bonus on there, whatever you want to do. That means you get a higher conversion rate on the landing page. so you get more people in, and then you can still promote that person anyway. But when you're kind of like using their templated landing pages and then you're hosting that on your own domain, that could be a slight issue sometimes. So yeah, exactly what you said, Gideon. What I'd suggest is say, as soon as someone comes in and they sign up, keep them on your page, build the relationship on your site, and then promote them off the back of that.
Nice. Very cool. Thank you.
Yep. Cool. So yeah, making sure everything's on the same domain is always useful. And then making sure that your website's a little bit fuller. And one thing that I should mention here as well is that sometimes Google really want to see what your business model is all about. So they want to know how you make your money. Now, that's not to say you have to be kind of divulge everything, but what you need to be able to say to people is like, we provide training or we provide products that do this, that, and the other, and people pay us for those products, and we make the money off that way. Now, you don't need to be as explicit as what I just said there, but if you're running like, say for example, you're running a company like Veeroll, for example, you've got the software there. That's fine. As soon as you say you're a software company to Google, that's job done. They know what your business model is all about. You sell the software, but not always is it obvious what a business model is, especially on the landing page. So sometimes what you need to do is make sure you've got another link on your page, and that just kind of guides people to kind of like what your business actually does. So on this particular example on the right hand side here, one of the tabs at the top in the navigation area is how it works. So nice phrasing there, how it works. It presupposes it does work, which is always nice. But when that clicks through to another page, then what will happen is you'll probably explain a little bit more about how the business model works. And from that, when Google see that, that's just, again, it's another thing that they like to see. But they like to see a fuller website, so it's not just a one-page website, and they like to see what the business model is all about. So they just feel comfortable with the promotion of that particular site. And if you get all of those things there, I'll be very surprised. Once you've removed all the claims, you've got disclaimers in there, you've got navigation, T's and C's and privacy policy, about us and contact us link, the landing page and thank you page in the same domain, and there's other parts of your website that build out that website and make it look more of a legitimate business than it should be, then I'll be surprised if you still have problems promoting. And if you still have problems promoting, it's either because you've had a ban in the past, or it's because Google just won't support your business model. They just will look at it and say, we don't want you to be selling drugs to kids or something along those lines. Funny enough, I got approached by some guy who does he is cannabis, but it's not actually selling cannabis. Obviously, it's selling, which is now legalized, I know, in certain states. But it's actually the grinder that grinds up the cannabis. And I was just like, do you know what? I know half my time will be getting around Google policies, and it's not really my area to be focusing on that. So yeah, I don't know it well enough. And just as a policy, I was like, I could probably get it to work, but I'm not too sure that it's going to be like, it could be like a week's work and then never actually get anywhere. So there's kind of certain areas, and gambling as well, you won't be able to get away with that either. But of course, if you're going to do that, then what you can do is build a list of people that would be interested in very similar things, and then obviously once they're on your list, great, you can sell them whatever you like off the back of that. So that's the easiest way of doing it.
Okay, fantastic.
Cool. Okay. So other parts of your website, you probably link to something called How It Works, or services as well. Can always be a good tab to have from Google's perspective. In terms of best strategies, here's what I would recommend people get into if they're having slight issues with getting their pages, or you think you might have slight issues. Say, for example, you're an affiliate marketer. I would say this is kind of some strategies you can potentially think of in order to get Google compliant. One, what I'd say is run an in-display ad campaign for a while, like 2 weeks, if not longer, or have a good level of good spend with them, and then move to in-stream. And the reason being is that as soon as you spent a bit of money with Google, they're more willing to listen to what you have to say, and they give you that leniency. Because they know you're a bit more of a serious player. You're not just coming in having spent nothing and trying to get like a really bad landing page kind of running sort of thing. They just like, hang on a second, you haven't spent any money with this. You've got a bad landing page. You're likely to get suspended quite quickly doing it like that. So I would say kind of run it in display for a while, knowing that it's much easier to get your page approved. Then when you move to in-stream, you're going to have a much better conversation with a Google rep, and they're going to be in a better place with you anyway from having had a little bit of spend with you, better relationship. What I'd also say is sacrifice the landing page. Get all of these things in place. I know it might be a bit more of a distraction, and it might be a bit more of your time to get a landing page to look like this and get all the pieces of the puzzle together, but get that landing page sorted. and then later improve with Google on the side. Okay, so you could like say, right, I've got all the bits of the puzzle that I need to have on this landing page. I know I've future-proofed myself because everything's there. I'm probably done more than everyone else has done. But once you've done that, you can always start kind of like being a bit clever about it and start removing some of the tabs if you think they're just distracting and seeing if Google is still liking it. But by that, you know then that you've done everything and you can start scaling back a little bit and saying, right, what can we do to improve this landing page? But you know you've got all the pieces of the puzzle there on the page itself and you've got approved. Google will like you as a result. You've got a good quality score with them. That's not going to get sacrificed or anything like that. And as a result, you've got kind of a better campaign to run. And when you've got that, you've got Google on side. They're kind of like, they know you're a legitimate business. You haven't had lots of complaints or anything like that. And they're quite comfortable with you. Then you can start playing around with better landing pages or submitting new landing pages and maybe not having the navigation bar there and just seeing what happens. But that's fine to do that once you've kind of got a bit of history with Google already.
Okay, so build up that history and then credibility with them, and they're going to be more likely to accept more, be a bit more lenient for future submissions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know that we've got some pages that we spent a fortune on, not like from ads. And the page that we had previously was like all the pieces of the puzzle there, and then we've started taking away some of those bits, like just to make sure that the page is more and more like a squeeze page, basically, to see what we can get away with. And now we find that we get pages more quickly and more easily approved because they've been through the mill quite a few times with Google, and they've said, yep, that's fine, yep, that's fine, yep, that's fine, and it's easier to get those pages approved now. And that's just because of history, I believe. Of course, I can't say that from a standpoint of this is what it is, but just from my own personal experience, I know that it's easy to get pages approved, which are more squeeze page like, where it's removed all the other links, etc. Once you've got a bit of history and a relationship with Google.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that.
And something that we were talking about the other day, actually, Gideon, as well, is that what you can do is if you wanted to move to in-stream and you were finding it difficult to promote a particular offer, what you can do is run an in-stream ad. So you can get your ad created with Veeroll, and what you can do is have a link. That link goes to another YouTube video. So it's almost like you're going from in-stream YouTube video ad to a YouTube video, and then from that YouTube video, you'd have a call to action, go back to your website. So you've kind of like using in-stream to promote a video. You can say pretty much whatever you like on that next video, but the call to action of that second video is going to get people back to your website. So it's kind of like taking a hybrid between an in-stream and an in-display kind of ad focus, so to speak. So that can be quite useful.
Once again, this removes the I guess the more stringent requirements of having a landing page like fully awesome. But we would still obviously recommend you try and make it as far as you can AdWords compliant, because this is good business, right? But what you're saying here is you can kind of bypass that a little bit by instead of sending them to your landing page, just send them to another video on YouTube, which by default will be compliant, and then from there, either with an annotation inside the video or a link below the video, get them back to your own landing page.
Exactly, and that landing page can probably get away with a lot more. But you could probably get away with kind of just having a traditional squeeze page, and get away with that. So you may find that that's definitely worth a test, by the way, especially if you're in the affiliate marketing game, because you'll get away with that, and then you can send them to the spammiest squeeze page you like, obviously, within reason. But it's a strategy that can take out that Google policy issue, and it means you've got kind of your ads running, and as long as that second video you'll promote, like that, the video that you promote from your in-stream ad that's going to be on YouTube, that obviously has to be a very good converting video. But of course, if that converts and you send it back to a landing page that converts really well, because it's a really effective just squeeze page, you should find that's a good strategy. And of course, you could probably do like the in-stream ad. You could probably say, here's what you're going to get, blah, 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 give them the information. And on the next page, you could probably say, oh, and by the way, you're going to also get this bonus when you sign up, so just click here. So you can make it really quick. So like, oh, okay, I'm getting a bonus as well. And then they click, and then they're back to the landing page. So you could be quite strategic about how you do it. And that's kind of obviously an effective approach.
So also just one thing that's worth noting here is that if you do go through this process of normal in-stream video ad, send them to a YouTube video, a different YouTube video, and then to your landing page, by the time they get to your landing page, they're going to be pretty qualified, right? So and if they do sign up for whatever you've got there, you know that they're going to be pretty well qualified. So it's so yes, it seems like a good strategy in terms of getting really highly qualified leads as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's well, the nice thing about it as well is if you if you're if you do it as well, and this is something we discussed briefly, and this is probably another conversation for another time, is that that traffic that's going to come through to that second video is going to be kind of high quality traffic. You could potentially build a remarketing list off that video anyway. So that they've kind of they've clicked through from your first video ad, they've gone through to another YouTube video. You could build a remarketing list off that YouTube video. That's probably a strategy for another day.
I was just going to say, leave that one for something a bit more advanced. I think we'll stick to the what do you call it, advert compliance stuff. Yeah. That's cool. A really good one. So keep watching this space. There's more stuff coming up from Tom. So we'll cover that properly in another call as well.
Cool. Okay, perfect. So that's kind of the strategies. And finally, what I want to talk about as well is things to remember. One thing is don't hate Google, and because trust me, they want to take your money. They're just kind of they know that on their back they've got the issue of kind of international government saying you can and can't do this, that, and the other, and there's laws and regulations in place for different advertising. And just because they've become so big, they take on that responsibility as well as you, the advertiser. They create the platform. They do take the responsibility as well. So they're having to play ball as well. So that's kind of, don't hate Google, hate the whole system if you really need to, but really look at your own business and think, well, is it really a advertising strategy that's kind of, can you really say what you're going to say? And is that fine to do so? You find that you can get away with a lot more than you think you can, typically, but sometimes they will crack down on you if you're being kind of particularly on the edges. They don't want to be dealing with people right on the edges that aren't spending any money. They're kind of it's not worth it to them. Spend more money, then you can start getting to the edges, a little bit more of what you can and can't say. That's kind of a thing to remember on that.
Okay, very cool.
With the also just get on the phone and talk to Google if you can. They're very, very good. They're brilliant. You just call them, talk to them. I mean, I'm used to it now, but I mean, if I was to do some advertising on Facebook, I know the stories I've heard. And people say, "Oh, I just got my account banned. I couldn't call anyone. Email support, nothing came back." It's just not much of a. It's a newer platform. Google have been around for years, and have kind of are the advertising platform basically for online and small businesses. And so they know their game, they know their stuff, and the support is there for, and the infrastructure is there for it as well. So call Google, talk to their reps. They're very, very good. And also, this is the hard work that separates you from them, basically. So any of this hard work is worth it because you know how powerful in-stream ads are. You know how powerful any YouTube advertising is and can be. This is the sort of stuff where the competition falls by the wayside, and they're like, "Oh, it's so difficult. I can't get my page approved or whatever." Now you know what it takes to get a page approved. You can get your page approved now, having listened to just this webinar. There might be a couple of issues that we haven't discussed potentially, but that's going to be the very, very rare kind of few of you that have another issue. But this is going to be what separates you from them. This is what separates the kind of the people that are dominating from just the other competitors. And that's the way to look at this, is you're not competing with everybody else. You're going into the market and you're going to control the marketplace. And that with that mindset, you'll find it's a lot easier to get these pages approved because you'll do what it takes to get it done. And don't give up. Talk to Google, keep on side with them, and they'll tell you what you need to do. It can sometimes seem irrational. You can see other pages that are promoting pages that look more like squeeze pages than yours does, and it gets frustrating sometimes. But work with them and be honest with them, and you normally get your pages through and your ads through. One thing I do want to make sure that people know, though, is that if you make a change to one of your videos, and you're promoting the same page, and you haven't changed the landing page yet that's been disapproved, that will count as another resubmission of that ad. So when you do that, be aware that don't kind of save your ad again or change your ad or anything before you've changed your landing page. change your landing page first, then go into AdWords and start making changes there. Because otherwise, what you can do is resubmit your ads by accident, and that means that another Google rep has to look at it again. And sometimes people don't realize, but they've actually resubmitted like loads and loads of ads over the space of like 3 or 4 days, and they thought, "Oh, no, I've only done it once. I've only submitted it once." Well, really, they've submitted like 30 times, and it's been disapproved every single time. If you do that, you can actually have your account suspended and then banned, which can be a bit frustrating.
Very smart. Very good.
So that comes to the end of the Google compliant lesson, I suppose. I don't know if you've got any Q&A coming through, Gideon, or if there's anything that's come up, or any individual questions.
There's been a lot of questions coming through. I'm going to try a bit of an experiment, Tom. I haven't tried this before with while I had another caller on, to bring in a third caller for Q&A.
Whoa.
So,
okay,
and of course, this is all happening live on YouTube Live. So apologies if it doesn't work, but we'll and it's the only way really to test it properly. Well, actually, we could test it another way, but I was lazy. But we'll give it a shot. Actually, I wasn't lazy. What happened was, backstory, my whole computer system broke down yesterday, and I had to get a whole new system here. So I haven't been able to be as well set up as I would like to be. But we'll give this a shot and see what happens. So if you have a question for us, let's give this a go, and we'll make it either audio or we might try video as well. I don't know, but we'll just stick with audio perhaps.
Whoa, video as well.
Make sure you go to my Skype. Connect with me on Skype. Let me just get this for you up on screen. And my Skype name for this is Ask Gideon, and let me just make that nice and big for you to see, and I'll get it up on the screen so that you can see exactly what to do. I'm just getting it bigger and bigger and bigger. So here we go. So if you want to connect with me and Tom, go to Ask Gideon on Skype. So connect with me on Skype, Ask Gideon, and if you've got a voice question, or well, we'll just stick with voice for now. I think we'll just play it safe. And I might just test the video thing a bit later on. But if you've got a voice question, just connect with me on Skype there, Ask Gideon, and just type something like voice question, or I've got a question, and then we'll call you and bring you in on the call, and you can ask your question, and we'll do our best to answer. So of course there's a bit of a delay here, so I'm just going to have a look at the comments area now to see if there's any specific questions, because there was just when your call dropped, Tom, there were quite a few good questions coming through. I'll just see if I can get back to that. Our chat thing sometimes cuts it off a bit. Yeah, it's a bit annoying. So I can't get back to those questions. Let's see if I can get a few other ones.
I suppose whilst you're doing that, Gideon, as well, if there's any specific questions that come up, let us know. And you think you've lost your question or something like that, just send it again if your question hasn't been answered, and we'll see if we can answer it.
Yeah, that's right. For those questions that you had in the chat before, if we didn't quite get to it, maybe just put it again in chat. Either there, or we prefer if you want to do it in Skype, and we can give you a call. That would be our preference. But if you're very shy or something, that's a problem too. So Paul is saying, ask Gideon voice questions. Yes, great. Paul, come on to Skype and ask us a question. We are ready for you. Let's see.
I'm really excited.
Well, yeah, normally the questions come through a bit faster. Maybe you've answered all the questions already, Tom. Or maybe it just is really very delayed for people and we're not seeing it coming through. Or for some reason they can't get connected to us. So Alex is saying he can't get into Skype. So I'm not sure what's happening with Alex's one. Oh, here's one from Paul. Paul Dehan. All right, so let's try Paul. So I'm going to add you to our call, Paul, and see if this works. So let's see if I can. Yeah. All right. Faster. Maybe you've answered all the questions already, Tom.
Hello.
It is really very delayed for people, and we don't see it coming through. Oh. Or for some reason they can't get connected to us.
Hi guys, how are we?
Oh, okay. I see what's happening. Can you just pause the video, Paul? Alex's one. Oh, here's one from Paul.
Yeah.
Paul B. Otherwise, there's a bit of feedback. Okay, so
All
guys,
right.
There we go.
please,
We're all in.
please don't call us. We will call you. Otherwise, it's going to get a little bit messy here. So, Paul, okay, can you hear us now?
Yeah, Ken, how are we? You well?
Yeah, we're good, thank you.
Very good, Paul.
Good, yeah. So I've just done my first ad today, which I got one approved and then one disapproved, but I realised what was wrong. And
Okay.
I'm doing placement. I asked this in the chat box a minute ago. I might have already got the answer, but it'd be good if you could answer. I've got placements from Veeroll videos, and I'm also doing in stream, but for some reason I'm getting no views whatsoever.
Okay, and it was a compliance issue.
No. Google is saying their ads are serving, but one of the guys in the chat box had just said go back in and put all genders and ages, and then it should start rolling. Is that correct?
Yes, I saw that as well. Tom, I might quickly jump in here. I mean, I know you'll have something to say as well. So that's one thing you could do certainly is just to open it up to all the ages and all the genders. Try that out, see what works. Tom, you'll probably make a suggestion on looking at the cost per view and the budget and things like that as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a few things you can do, and I'd probably need to look at the account to see it. But if you find that that's the case, how long has the ads been potentially trying to be running, Paul?
Since this afternoon, so about 5 o'clock.
GMT.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably one of the issues. It either hasn't, it's been approved, but the ads haven't started running yet. That might be one of the issues, because it can take, if you've been very, very specific with your targeting, you may find it takes a little bit longer to activate as such.
Okay.
But you may find that it is running, but you just haven't got the reporting back yet. Because it's 5 o'clock, it can take a few hours to get that reporting back to you. That might be an issue. So it may actually be running. You can always go and check it, obviously, and just look at some of the videos if you're advertising to your area, I suppose. So I wouldn't worry too much at this stage. If by tomorrow at 5 o'clock, still no views or anything like that, what I might do is actually increase the budgets on my cost per view and on my daily budget. I don't know what your daily budget is right now, but I normally start things off at £20 per day, which is obviously UK sterling. That will work out as about $30 to $40 US. That normally will get things activated from my end quicker. So you're willing to spend more. So Google will look at that and think, oh, okay, cool. I don't actually open up the targeting straight away because we may find that the targeting, like the actual kind of genders and ages, might not be relevant for us. I'll go with budget first and then look at if that still didn't work, I'd open it up further. But I'd normally just call Google and say, why aren't my ads showing? And they normally give you another reason. But I have seen it before as well, Paul, where talking about compliance, I have seen it before where Google have initially given us the green light and said, yep, your ads have been approved. And then 48 hours later, they've disapproved them. And during that time, they haven't shown the ads. So that can be an issue. A bit more rare for that to happen, but that can be an issue. But it sounds like from your end, I would wait for a little bit longer to see if it's the reporting that's a little bit later. And if it is the reporting, great, you're up and running anyway. If not, increase the budgets of cost per view and daily budget, and then talk to Google, and then obviously open up to genders and ages, as Gideon says, and see if that solves it as well. That's the strategy I would take for there if you're not getting the views.
Yeah. Also one thing to check, Paul, is when you do look at the stats, make sure you've got the latest day included. I noticed, I'm not sure if it's the same case in all countries, but certainly here in Australia, it always seems to not include the latest day in your stats. So if you go up to the top left and go for custom dates, and just make sure you select the latest day as well. Often that can show you the latest day's views, whereas by default sometimes it wouldn't. So it's just something to check as well.
Okay, thank you. I'll check that.
Great, thanks, Paul.
Perfect.
Tom.
That's what, Paul.
Tom, I'm
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I just closed everyone down. All right, sorry about that. Tom?
You hung up on me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm still learning. There's quite a few questions here. So what I'll do is press the wrong button first, and okay. Let's see if we can bring in Gil, I think, was next. There's about 4 or 5 different people here. So Gil tried to call us. And Gil, let's see if you want to do video. Let's try Gil.
That'd be cool.
That'd be very cool. And I might just turn my video off because no point seeing me. Gil, how you doing?
Yeah. Hello, how you going?
Good. And you were on the call with us last time as well. And we saw that beautiful testimonial video you did for us. That was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I promised I was going to do that. So it's good to do what you promised. And yeah, and
Yep.
okay, so Tom can hear me now too?
I can hear you nice and clearly, Gil.
All right, how you going? Yeah, look, I just have a quick question. If you're researching a new market and you don't know what they're watching on YouTube, how do you find how would you go about researching and coming up with the material, the areas, the videos that they're watching in their recreation time? Like if I'm going after, say, stay-at-home dads, you know, they're sitting around and in their free time when the kid's playing on the monkey bars and he's on YouTube on his phone, how do I work out what he's watching? Or do I have to niche down my my market a bit more, or what would you recommend in that case?
And what are you selling as a product or a service?
Oh, this is SFM.
SFM, cool. Okay, perfect. So, kind of, you're selling internet marketing training basically, and selling how to start a profitable business.
Yeah.
Cool. I just wanted to say that so it's kind of more open for people that aren't on the call for that perspective. So, what I would do, and I suppose this is less of a compliance question, but I'm cool with that too. What I would say is that there's something I use with the staff sort of thing. It's called the ZMOT, and you may have heard this before with Google. They've got the ZMOT, which is like ZMOT, and
Yep.
that stands for zero moment of truth. And that's kind of like the most important point where you need to start advertising. In the past, it used to be like if you're going to go and buy a TV, in the past, like let's say 10 years ago, you would have gone down to your local shop, talked to a sales rep, took their advice, buy the TV, get it home, and then if you like it, you like it. And there's two points of sale there. There's one with the salesperson, them giving their advice and selling you the TV, and there's two getting it home, putting it up on the wall, see if it looks good, and watching the TV, and it does look good. So that's great. So there's like those two moments. Whereas now, with the online world, there's a third moment which comes before all of that, and that's the point where as soon as they're looking for that sort of service online, that's when you need to make sure you're aware and you're like kind of omnipresent. You're just there all the time whenever they start searching.
Yep.
So I would I'll be less kind of focused if you're just starting out with people that are like the stay-at-home dads that are that need to be shown this amazing information, because that's expensive. That's you're persuading someone who's not looking for this already. That's like
Correct.
brand
Yes.
awareness and stuff. That's difficult. That's tough work.
It's expensive, yes.
Yeah, really expensive, and you won't get very good conversions, and then it's going to be a tough sell as well. You've got to be like super effective at selling that whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, what I'll do is I'll just wait until those specific people are starting to search for you. Don't go and spend money on trying to persuade people, but instead just wait for them to start searching for you. So just close in on the demographics and just think, right, what would your ideal people search for? So they say, okay, I want to start how to learn how to run an internet business or an online business, or they're looking at motivational videos on how to build a business, startups, all that sort of stuff. They're going to be researching, but get in front of them when they're researching. That's the most important time. And YouTube is exactly that. People go to YouTube to start searching for stuff and getting more information, research and researching different ideas and different topics. And that's where we all go. And that's why we use YouTube.
Exactly.
So I would say don't try and get in front of a global audience and persuade them. Wait for them to start searching and then get in front of them at that stage. It's a lot cheaper and it's a lot more effective. And then once you've mastered it, then you can start spreading out a little bit more. You can start saying, okay, well, they might not be searching how to run an internet business, but they might be searching how to get more traffic to my website. Because now they're kind of like, they're in a business where you might think, well, I can persuade business owners to give up their existing business and come and do SFM instead. So you might say, right, those people are looking for, how do I get more customers? How do I get more leads? So you could probably persuade them. You probably need a different landing page, but then you can say,
Yes.
right, let's educate you on how to get leads. And by the way, once you've mastered this, don't run it for your own business, run it for someone else's business that you know it's going to close the business for you. And they're like, oh my God, that sounds so much easier. But that's not what they originally searched. So there's got to have an educational sell in there as well. So hopefully that gives you a bit more indication, but I would say only go for that traffic that are searching for that solution
In my
from the first place.
In my circumstance, that's perfect. That's exactly what I needed to hear. No, that's great. Thank you.
Good.
Cheers.
Okay, that's what I like to hear.
Awesome. Thank you.
Gil.
Great. Thanks, Gil. And try not to... Okay, Gil hang up, so that made it easier for us. All right, so I'm just going to see if I can remove from here. Okay, great. So that worked without shutting off poor old Tom. Okay, next person is, I think, Alexa. Let's accept that and get Alexa coming in. How do I add to call? Here we go.
We need to get a video.
Yeah, Alexa, maybe if you've got a video, that would be great. Let's see if we've got Alexa coming in. Not seeing Alexa just yet. Might still be ringing for her. It's a bit of a new territory for us here. Alexa, if you're there, we can't hear you. Can you hear us? I'll just type her a text. Can you hear us, Alexa? Let's see if she comes back with something. We can't hear you at the moment if you can hear us. So just make sure your microphone is on. Otherwise, we might, while you sort that out, we might just move on to the next caller. And so, how do I get rid of Alexa now? Not sure.
I can call you back if you want to hang up.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's try
Might
that.
make it easier.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
let's do
okay,
that.
cool.
Sorry about this, people. I'm still learning as we go with this. All right, so you disconnect Tom, and we'll just call me back again.
Okay.
All right, so Tom will get back to us in a sec, and then I'm going to move on to Des. I'll just get... here we go. So I'm going to add...
in.
Okay, great. So I'm going to get Des connected. Now Des, why is I'm not seeing Des? Looks like he's offline. So Des, I'm sorry we've missed you. Igor, let's accept that and add you to the call. So Igor is next, or Igor. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that totally wrong. And here we go, just ringing. And hopefully we might even get a video. How lucky would that be? People are shy. Video people being shy, I don't understand. Okay.
Here we go. I think we're in.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Yeah, fine, thanks.
Now, I'm not sure if I pronounced your name right. Can you just say it for us so we can get it right?
It's Igor.
Igor, all right.
Igor. Okay.
Igor,
Hi, Igor.
how you doing?
Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, thanks a lot for your presentation tonight.
You're welcome.
Of course.
Oh, well, I didn't do anything, it was Tom.
Yeah, I have a question to Tom. As I understand, he comes from the UK and he does his business in the United Kingdom. And my question is whether any obvious requirements for data protection from the information commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fine, thanks.
Now, I'm not sure.
So yeah, I mean, what he does with his business, whether he, whether we go to apply for the permission, for the license from the
Okay.
ICO.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my question.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry, I was listening in for more information. Can you ask the question again? Sorry, Igor.
Yeah, as we are collecting people's information like emails for building our list, whether we have to apply for the license from the ICO Information Commissioner's Office to comply with Data Protection Act.
Okay. Oh, okay. Fine. I would say that which country are you in, Igor?
In the UK, United Kingdom.
Are you promoting the United Kingdom? From a Data Protection Act, I've never had an issue with that. With the bigger companies, they normally get that sort of stuff sorted before I move into it. So it's not the sort of thing where it comes on me to answer that question too often. I've never seen that be an issue before with having to get having to get approval from the ICO or wherever you're getting the information from, wherever you need to get approval from. So that hasn't necessarily been an issue. That said, you normally sign up to the T's and C's when you're getting an autoresponder or you have a CRM database. You'll tend to find that those will have you sign up and agree to T's and C's, which I think that normally protects you. But again, it's not really my expertise, so I'm not too confident in saying this is exactly what you need to do. Probably worth getting advice. Gideon, is there anything that you would share on that front?
Yeah, interesting one. It's probably country specific. I'm not sure what the requirements are for the UK. I do know that in Canada they're getting pretty crazy about it. So you've got to be very, it's got to be very clear that people are getting on your list, and spam complaints and this sort of thing is huge over there. So it's probably country specific. So I can't really comment on that. If you are concerned about it, I would suggest you contact probably some kind of a lawyer, or I was going to say intellectual property kind of lawyer, but probably not even that. It would have to be someone who specializes in online kind of businesses and information security and this sort of stuff. That'd be my number one recommendation, because we're not qualified legally to be able to advise you on those sort of things. But in general, I think the key thing is that if you follow standard principles of collecting people's when you collect people's contact details, that you have a double opt-in process, for example, and that you only collect people's details if they give it to you and they give approval for you to use it, then in general, as a general blanket advice would be that you should be fine. But please double check that with some legal advice as well to make sure that you're above board.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
It's the same when it comes to remarketing as well. With remarketing, you're meant to have on your website that you tell people that you're doing that, and so that you can allow cookies and all that sort of stuff. The different websites will phrase it in different ways. So some people say, by using this website, like YouTube do this. In fact, if you look at the bottom of the YouTube page, it'll say, by using this website, you're agreeing to our T's and C's around cookies, etc. Obviously, they say it in a slightly different way than I've just phrased it there, but they're fine to use that. Whereas some other websites have to have the kind of pop up and say, are you okay with this, yes or no? So it's different for different countries, different websites and different companies, I think, as well. So yeah, I can't really advise on that, but this is a quick conversation with the right person and you'll get that information that you need.
Yeah, all right. Okay, thank you very much for that. Thank you.
No worries, Igor. Good to speak to you.
All right, thank you, Igor. Just hang up and also remove. I'm getting the hang of this now. Okay, good. good. So let's try the next person. We'll try Alexa again. She just said she tried to call us. She could hear us, but we couldn't hear you, Alexa. So let's just try that again. All right, so let's try that again. Hopefully your microphone and everything is working fine this time. Let's see. So Alexa, I think we've connected again already. We're not hearing you just yet. Not sure what's going on there. Perhaps if you ask a question in the text one, because you were keen to do an audio thing, so we'll try and do that for you. Not sure what's not coming through for us here, and it's kind of weird because I can't even. Excuse me. I can't even have a selection on your name to see if you're there or not. I'll add you to call again. It's not doing anything. It's kind of weird. I must admit, people, I'm out of my depth. For Skype, it's a new Skype interface as well, which is not helping.
Always the way.
All right.
Here, Alexa, ask your question in the chat box in the Skype, and hopefully we can answer it there as well.
Yeah, good idea. Yes, we can't hear you, Alexa. Right, she's just typing that for us. So maybe just type your question in the Skype box, and we can answer it for you. So
She's going to be like 30 seconds behind, isn't she?
No,
On the
if
screen.
she's on Skype, she should be in real time, so it should be fine.
Ah, great. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So, Alexa, I'm going to just wait for you to type your question in Skype, and then we'll get back to you on that. So I'm going to move on to the next one, except Alexa's saying you can't hear me, but it's okay, and that's typical for me. Well, I hope we can improve that for future ones, Alexa, certainly. We're gonna have to disconnect again, Tom, because I don't know how to get Alexa out of the call again. It's kind of
Okay,
quite
I'll
strange.
hang up
Yes.
and call you back.
It might be just
Okay,
a
one
Skype
sec.
issue, yes. All right, so sorry about these little technical issues, but it is quite nice being able to talk to people live as opposed to just, text questions. All right, so just waiting for Tom to call back. Maybe I'll call him. Here we go. All right,
Gideon?
back
Okay,
again.
we're back in.
Cool. All right, so let's see. The next person is Des. Now, Des offline. I will try the Stephen. All right, let's try Stephen. Stephen Powell. Here we go. Let's hopefully that works. All right. Connecting to Stephen. Let's see if that works for us. Beautiful family shot.
Kind of
Stephen.
people, I'm out of my depth.
Oh, Stephen, maybe just pause your video. That would help.
Helping. Always the way. All right, here, Alexa. Ask your question in the chat box in Skype.
Okay,
and hopefully
so we're hearing the feedback from Stephen.
well.
For everyone watching this, just when you call in through Skype, just pause your video, please. Otherwise, it's not really going to work.
So maybe just type your question in the Skype box.
Maybe I'll just.
Are you there, Stephen?
I'll.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Hey, Stephen, can you just pause your video, please?
30 seconds behind, isn't she?
No, if she's on Skype, she should be in real time, so it should be fine.
Oh, great. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So.
Can you pause
next
the
time,
video
wait
of
for you to type your
us?
question in Skype, and then we'll get back to you on
pause
that.
the video.
So I'm going to move on to the next one.
I'll just
Accept.
type a little message.
Um,
Let's see. We'll be there.
That's it. Great. Oh, no.
Alexa say you can't
Go ahead.
hear me. It's okay. That's typical for me.
The YouTube video,
We can improve that
Stephen?
in future ones, Alexa.
just
Certainly.
pause that. Otherwise, we won't be able to have a
We're
conversation.
gonna have to disconnect again, Tom, because I don't know how to get Alexa out of the
I
call.
might have
again.
to pull you off,
Okay,
Stephen. I'm
that's
not sure
fine.
if you're actually hearing our Skype
It's got
voice.
you, yes.
I'll just send you another little message.
So sorry about these little technical issues, but it is quite nice being able to talk to people live.
This
as
is not, I'm
opposed
not
to
sure if
just
Stephen is hearing us through Skype, so I'm just going to have to
text
disconnect
messages.
through there.
So
Sorry,
just waiting
Stephen.
to call back.
Okay.
Yeah, so Stephen, you need to pause your video if you can. Maybe we can call him back or something.
Yeah, so we're doing the thing that makes us a little bit interesting is that there's two things happening here. I'm bringing people in through Skype, and of course we're streaming this live on YouTube Live as well. So that means that the stream from YouTube is about 30 seconds to a minute delayed compared to the call on Skype. So when we do call you on Skype, just make sure you turn off pause the YouTube video or the live video that you're watching. All right, so let's try next one. Actually, that might be all of them. Actually, if I've missed you on there, just let me know on Skype. Let's see. Alexa has said something else. Okay, Alexa has a question now. So let me read this out for us. Okay, so Alexa's saying the SFM, so Six Figure Mentors landing page that Tom was using in the example, would he say that one is compliant? Because that's the one that I used that got disapproved. I made a new ad, but used that same landing page. I've been pending over approval for over 48 hours. Don't know what else to ask as I'm a bit confused. My questions are unclear, I'm afraid. Puzzle pieces yet falling into place. All right, is that enough information for you, Tom?
Yeah, I think I've had this question on Facebook as well over the last few days as well.
All right.
So that makes sense. That page has been approved for in-stream ads and, of course, in-display ads as well. So that page that I was displaying is approved. Obviously, I use it in my slides, so it had to be approved. But yeah, no, that page is approved. The person that is promoting that particular page, Christian, he is he has a good relationship with Google already. So this is where that relationship situation comes in. He's paid money to Google already. He's spoken to Google quite a few times. He's even met with them as well. And so he has an ongoing relationship with them. And so he can call up the right sort of people, discuss. They are happy to promote his business and his whole website because he's kind of had a good track record with them. So that puts him as a slight advantage. Obviously, he still has to play by the same rules, but Google are happier to promote him than a brand new account. So that's just something to bear in mind. And this is why it's a good idea to build out that longevity with Google, because you'll get away with more in the long run. So getting that relationship, paying them a bit of money, having that good relationship with them is always a useful strategy to take. And so you will find you get kind of like more leg ups as such, as you kind of continue advertising with Google. So that's my best explanation of that. If you've literally just cloned their website. The other thing I would check on though is whether you've removed all of the claims, because that can be an issue sometimes, and also if you have made it really clear with what the business model is all about and how that business model runs. If you haven't done that, and that can be on different pages. So whilst you see that landing page and the links to other pages, Google might have gone to the home page of the whole website and check that out. They may have gone to like different pages within your whole website just to check that out. And if there's not really much else there, you'll need to build out the rest of the website to get approved for in-stream ads. But as I say, what I'd do in that situation is build it as close as you can, build out more of a website as well, run your in-display, and then potentially run your in-stream to a separate YouTube video, and then move into in-stream, because you would have spent some money, built a relationship with them. You can give them a call and talk about it, and look to get your website promoted from or approved from there, so you can continue with your promotions. But that will be my best advice on that front.
And I'm not sure if you mentioned it, Tom, but it goes without saying, of course, that that those pages need to be hosted on your own website.
Yes.
So that's very important. Okay, great.
Yep.
I've got Steve coming in, so I'm going to give him a shot. He's just said. Actually, there's a follow up from Alexa. Let's just finish up with that one. She just said thanks. She just said thanks. Okay, great. So let's try Stephen again. Cool. Okay, Stephen, let's try this again. So perhaps you got our message last time, and we'll be able to make it work this time. Okay, so I think we're having the same kind of glitch here with Skype with Stephen, and I'm not sure if Stephen, if you can hear us, but we can't hear you. It's a little bit silly. Let's just try this again. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's really working for us. For some reason, some of these ones just don't want to connect. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's listed here at the top, so it's kind of, you should be there. Let me just see if there's something else I can change here.
Do you want me to hang up and you try and call Stephen independently, Gideon?
Yeah, let's try that. All right.
And then call me back or something.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well, I'll get you back in, and then we'll call Steve again within a different way.
Okay. Cool. Okay. All right. Speak to you in a sec.
Okay. All right. So we'll try Tom again. Where did Tom go? There we go. And video call.
Okay, thanks. Back in.
Yeah, Tom. All right. So I'll see if I can bring in Stephen. Let's see. Let's try this. All right. This looks better. All right. So we're connecting with Stephen.
But that will be my best advice on that front.
Okay, Stephen, please pause your video now.
That's that.
Because we can still hear some feedback.
It's to be hosted on your own website.
Yes.
So that's
Stephen, I'm not sure if you can hear us, but if you can hear me through Skype, just pause the
I
video.
believe I can hear you.
Oh, there we go. All right. We're
Well,
good.
We're sorted.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah,
No
sorry.
worries.
I should have explained that before the Q&A. My apologies. But
No, I couldn't find the YouTube screen. It got lost behind layers of other stuff I was looking at.
all right, no problem. All right. Well, we got you now. Would you like to ask a question?
Here's my question. I want to start a program where I'm an affiliate market for a golf manufacturing company for golf equipment. And I wanted to use the Veeroll platform do I, once I run that Veeroll ad in front of those golf YouTube videos, I would send it then to a landing page where I can create persuasive reasons to go to this manufacturer of these particular golf clubs. Do I actually need to do that? Because I could literally just send it to Veeroll and have it go straight to the affiliate site of the manufacturer, which then would have then I would eliminate by my choice collecting email addresses to be creating a list. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah, and of course you can do that. Yep, you can obviously promote, and I presume it would have your link going to on their website. So you'd have like their website.com / and then it might be your name or whatever you're promoting.
Correct. I'd be an affiliate of that. This golf equipment company offers an affiliate program. So I could run the Veeroll advertising in front of golf videos, YouTube videos, which there are thousands of. And then I could go, do I need to go create my own website, say through WordPress, that says who I am, and then send them and go through that straight to the golf manufacturer site, or just take them there directly?
Okay, so
to be Google.
Yeah, Google don't necessarily always like straight affiliate links. You can definitely do it from, it depends on how closely related you are to the company. If they're willing to put some code or some meta tags on their website, then you can associate your YouTube account with their website. And as a result, you can run straight ads from in display because you can have the links going to their website from in display ads. In stream ads, you might have a slight issue with promoting it straight with the link as an affiliate link. YouTube won't necessarily like that. So, I mean, from a standpoint of building a business that would be very successful, what I would say is your best bet is building your own website if you can and gathering the leads that way, because then you can always send them on to this find like the perfect, like what some people call like a lead magnet, so you get very high conversion rates onto your list, and then promote them to this the golfers products after that. But what I would say is, say for example, you could do that. You could say the best review. So I've got a client who does reviews of a certain type of service, and he does very well. So we send a lot of traffic that way. He has like manuals, and then those manuals have links to their affiliate pages. But it's obviously coming through to their page first, so they're capturing the leads that way. I would suggest that because one, you're not going to fall foul of the affiliate link system from InStream. Second of all, you can build your own list and you can obviously promote as many golf products as you like then off the back of it. And I think it would be more profitable in the long run to do it that way. Find the perfect lead magnet that gets all your golfers to sign up, and then from there you build a list and send them on that way. That's going to be a more robust strategy from an affiliate side. So yeah, I think you could potentially send them through from in display. One thing you could do, one thing you could test, and I'm saying this like knowing that I've done it in the past as part of a test, but I wouldn't suggest it, is that you might be able to put a 301 redirect on your link from your video to their site as a external annotation on an in-display ad. I cannot recommend doing that, but I know that people have done that and it's worked. But it's only a matter of time, and I don't think you can actually get away with it for too long. But it might work as an in-display strategy. I know I'm going down a bit of a rabbit hole here, and I'm telling you to do things that I wouldn't, or I'm suggesting things that I wouldn't suggest to do. But it's I want to be open with you. Some people do it like that, and it works. So you can do a 301 redirect from your external annotation.
But you wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you want to stay above board with AdWords. Is that correct, Tom? Longer term.
It's not necessarily AdWords. It's more YouTube. Okay. As I understand it, you can do a 301 redirect if you have your own. If you've associated that website with your webmaster tools. Obviously, if you're promoting a big affiliate company, they're probably not going to allow you to add like some data to their website so it's like fits under your Google Tag your Webmaster Tools. But you could do a 301 redirect if you have your Google Webmaster Tools tracking on that additional website. I know I'm going down a rabbit hole here already, so say for example it's not your main site, but you have some meta tags or you have some HTML files uploaded on the other person's website. You can then do a 301 redirect through to that person's website, but it will go through your website and then straight onto the affiliate's website.
I've got Steam.
So hopefully that makes sense, Gideon and Stephen.
One of the things I was trying to see if you can let me ask one more question regarding this. If I go from the Veeroll campaign and I go to my domain that talks about how great this equipment is, and then my click button on my domain sends it directly to the manufacturer, and I don't collect email addresses because I'm thinking, well, if I ask for the email address, that could eliminate potential sales. What's your thought on that? Because I don't necessarily need to collect these.
Yeah,
it's one more click they have to do.
Yeah. So basically, all you're doing is instead of what you're asking is like instead of when they get to your landing page on your domain, instead of asking for their contact details, you just send them straight to the affiliate site with your affiliate link from your site. Correct. Right. And
I don't see a big problem with that. I haven't run a campaign like that. So as long as you had all the T's and C's and all the things I talked about here in this session this evening, if you were to have all those pieces of the puzzle together and have it on the page, I don't see there being an issue with that. But I haven't run a campaign like that, so I can't say definitely yes you'll be fine. But you have a test.
I'll test it both ways and give you the results.
Yeah, good idea. So sorry I couldn't be more helpful, Stephen, but I mean, that strategy doesn't seem like a bad strategy to take, and could help you with the promotion of that. So yeah, maybe that would be a way to do it. I don't know, Gideon, if you've got any thoughts on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's so essentially you're just delaying the affiliate link. Maybe not as much as what you do with the lead, capturing the lead first. So the big question in my mind is whether AdWords and Google would be okay with that. Would they be okay with you sending traffic to a page where you basically have an affiliate link on that page? And as Tom was saying, if you've got everything else there, in terms of that it's a valuable site that provides other valuable, useful information as well, my gut feeling is that there shouldn't be a problem because you're providing a good experience and you just happen to have an affiliate link on the page. It might be worth you just stating that on the page as well. Be very clear that it actually is an affiliate link because that's, with the FCC, that's pretty important. But I'm not, I don't know what AdWords policy is exactly on sending people to a landing page where you have an affiliate link. But my gut feeling is that it should be fine if you have all the other things going that Tom talked about in the call today.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's funny. It's because it's like I know people that send it straight to like an Amazon sales page, which would be an affiliate link. But of course, then Amazon have got a bit more of a sturdiness behind them, so YouTube are probably happy to promote them. So yeah, it's kind of like you could say that Amazon is basically an affiliate link in the most instances. So yeah, so I don't really know the policy on that. But yeah, Stephen, run it and let us know, definitely.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Stephen. All right, good to get Stephen on there finally. Let's see. Great. Now there's probably this. I see 3 more questions here, so I think we'll just try and limit it to that. We've almost been out of 2 hours. I think our voices are starting to go a little bit. Mine is. I'm not sure about yours, Tom.
I've run out of water as well.
Yeah. So we'll just have I think 2 or 3 more, and then we'll move on. So let's see if Des is around. No, he's offline again, so I'm not sure. This is not working for us. There's something not quite working. So a couple more questions. So Sobia, let's try that. And add to call. So for some of these, they don't seem to connect. So like that, I don't know why that's doing.
Do we hang up again?
Yeah, I have no idea why that does that. We'll try that again, Tom. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, let's call Tom back again.
Okay, we're back.
All right, so let's just try this again. I think if I do it this way, it seems to... Yes, all right, good. Okay, so...
I think you may have lost my video, but I'm still here.
Okay, good. Sobia, are you there? Or Sobia, I'm not sure how to pronounce it properly.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. It's a little bit of a noisy connection, but we can hear you. We could. We could.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are.
Yes, yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
I wasn't expecting you to call me, and I've forgotten my question. I did have a question, and I've forgotten it now. So you've caught me out.
Well, it's good to have you on the call in any case.
Yeah, no, it's been a great webinar, and I'm slowly getting accustomed to the whole idea, and you've really, spelt everything out. I really wanted to ask you a question, and I can't remember it, so I have to apologise and let you press ahead with everyone else.
What business do you run, Sobia?
Sorry?
What business are you running? What type of promotion are you running?
I'm with SFM. Okay. Just joined them just over a month ago, and I joined Veeroll as well. Gideon might remember me joining up recently. And so I'm trying to employ Veeroll and understand all this Google compliant pages and things like that. So I'm working on this right now. So I was really pleased to see that the webinar was quite relevant to what I'm working on.
Great.
Good stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well,
and do you remember your question now or not?
No, I don't. I honestly, I should have written it down. So I've completely forgotten it. So I really apologise.
No problems.
No worries.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next caller. So thanks for calling in any case. And you know that you can now in future, so it's all good. But thanks for calling in. So we'll talk to you again next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so we'll do one more, and then we will... Hopefully this one works. Let's go back here. And let's try that. It seems to. I think it must be a bug in Skype, because it seems to. Yeah, just hang up again and we'll call back again. Okay. It seems to work the second time. Okay, so where's Tom? Tom. There he is. Okay, so let's just try this again with Travis, and that'll be our last question.
Okay, I'm in.
All right, so Travis, we'll try this one more time. All right, it's connecting to Travis.
Hey, Gideon.
Hey, Travis, how you doing?
Good. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Travis, how you doing?
Good. I'm good. Great job so far. Very informative. I didn't really have a question. I didn't really have a question so much as sort of an announcement to anyone, all the SFM users out there, just on my recent experience. I know I posted a little bit in the chat there, but so I posted my ad, and it took a few days, but it got approved. And what I did was, just to try and play it safe as a test, I actually used just a simple page on the site. It was my SFM review page, and I just made some modifications. I let them know as soon as that they got there that, hey, you just landed on my site, so you're free to leave at any time. There's no obligation. Feel free to browse around, so I thought I was being very nice about it. And so anyway, it got approved, and it didn't run either. And then I contacted Veeroll support, and they told me to make a few modifications. So then it started running, and then it was only a day later that Google just sent me an email saying that they were shutting down my AdWords account. Now, it wasn't specific to the ad. They were mentioning specific to the site. So we're using, all of us newbies, I guess, are you still using the preloaded authority sites without too many modifications. So anyone out there who hasn't made a lot of modifications to that site, we need to go in and start doing that. And I think somebody on the chat there posted a link to the AdWords policies that we need to go through. And I've kind of been going through that over the last couple of days as well. So I wanted to wait till after this call to contact Google, so I had some more information.
Cool. Okay. So your whole account was actually suspended.
My ads account, yeah.
And you only had one ad run.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's the first time I've heard that. So
crazy.
That sounds very unlucky from your perspective. But the good, I know that helps. At no point. but no. What I would suggest though is I would probably get in touch with. Have you picked up the phone and spoken to Google?
No, I wanted to wait till after this webinar so I had a bit more information going in.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what they might ask for you is might ask for some more information from you, and then what will probably happen is it'll probably be sent away to specialist teams, and that can then take 72 hours, and then from there you will get the final kind of yes or no you can show ads. I'm really surprised by that. If it's your first ad, I'm kind of less surprised in one respect, because it's like if you've got no history, that's kind of like you're coming in and you're trying. I'm surprised they approved it and then disapproved it, and then gave you a suspension. That's odd. I haven't seen that before. Very strange. Because that's kind of quite an odd one. Obviously,
it seems like they almost took a look at the ad and said, okay, that's okay. They looked at the page that I went to and said, okay, that's on his website. And then they started figuring around on the website and said, hey, wait a second, we don't like any of this stuff, so we're going to shut you down.
It seems quite a drastic thing to say, to shut you down, because it's kind of like from just that side. So I don't know. That's kind of an odd one for me. That's quite a quick decision that Google have made there. Maybe it's just a manual, because most of these are manual approvals. Maybe it's just someone on a bad day. I don't know. I wouldn't think that that's the case. But I mean, what I would say is that and this goes for more general affiliate marketers as well. I would say one of the safer ways of doing it is thinking, right, what's the sort of lead capture that you would want? What are people kind of opting in for? What are people wanting that are your ideal market? And I wouldn't leave it all in one pillar, so to speak, of saying, here's how I get all my traffic in, just this one approach, and here's my landing page. I might spread it out a little bit and say, well, I'm looking for people that are business owners, so why don't you create a manual of like the 10 things, like the 10 checklist you must have in place if you want to run a successful business, and then have it as a manual. And you're not selling an affiliate program just yet. You're getting people in for that, and you're building your list off the back of that. That will be then clean, and you can build like a good quality list to then upsell them to videos or whatever the affiliate might have that you can promote. But what I might suggest is say, build your own list, know that's yours and your business, and then you can offload them to the relevant places afterwards. But finding your own lead capture system that's approved by Google, that you can then sell the leads onto, is, I think, a very wise strategy, because it will separate you from everybody else that might be doing exactly the same thing. So I'd say try and build something for your own business that would build your own list, and that you're in complete control, and you're not waiting for somebody else to kind of create a page that you can then promote that's Google friendly. You kind of taken that initiative on yourself, and you built your own list off that.
Yeah, that's good advice. A question has come up now that I'm on here. You had mentioned about so if our ad is referring to the free video series, and then it leads us to the page that's offering the free video series. Now, the issue on our preloaded sites is all of the other offers are in there too, not just the video series. So I think it might have been one of the triggers.
Oh, so the actual free video series is the trigger for the
maybe Google. I'm thinking maybe Google thought that was incongruent to have, okay, the free videos are there, but also all this other stuff is here as well.
I wouldn't say that's much of an issue. I think the more variety you have, the happier that Google are. Obviously, you don't want to have lots of variety because it causes more distraction and reduces conversion rates. But yeah, I would say that if you've got kind of like, this is the issue that some people have sometimes, is they build these websites and they've got a one landing page and they go, oh, my one landing page looks Google approved and it looks fine. And then you click away from that and you go to the home page or something, and all of a sudden it's like big claims, nothing's backed up, no T's and C's or about us or anything like that. Nothing that we've talked about this evening is in place. So one page might be right, but Google will look a little deeper than that most of the time, and they just want to see the whole business and how actually the business runs. So it may be that outside of that one landing page, there's more going on behind the scenes. But I would say that, well, it sometimes can be difficult to get Google to approve certain things, and I've had it before. But you've got to work through it and work with them, and in the end, you will be able to get it approved. Unless you've kind of like your first end offering is going like promoting an affiliate that's kind of or having an affiliate offer that's all about making money while you sleep type scenario, or they phrase it as get rich quick. But remember, you're in the industry, so you'll feel that it's not get rich quick. But say, for example, like two people away from you would look at it, they would deem it as get rich quick sort of thing. So it's how the outsiders look at the industry, not you. It's like people saying, like, I'll say to people, oh, I do YouTube advertising. And then people say, oh, so you create videos. I'm like, I do, but I'm more of an advertising guy. But so for the outsider, it's like, oh, you're on YouTube, you do YouTube stuff. But for me, I'm like, I do YouTube ads. So it's a slightly different, like for me, I know what I do. But from an outsider looking in, they deem it very differently. It's a bit like what Google do. They look at it and say, this is kind of falls into the category of get rich quick. And that can be where the issue lies sometimes.
Yeah, okay. Well, after this, I've got a ton of more information out for you guys, so I'll be ready when I talk to them tomorrow.
Brilliant.
Cool. Okay, perfect. Yeah. And Gideon, just to let you know, I've got all the links for Google, like user safety and information harvesting, etc. I'll ping them across to you. So we'll probably like have that in the, well, wherever you want to put it. So I've got all the links for you.
Certainly, we can put that in the replay area inside the members area. We're currently just going through a bit of a rehaul for the content part of the site, so that it's a lot easier for you to go through it and have links and resources and all this sort of stuff. We're going to do a lot more of these sort of calls regularly to help you and answer your questions for you and provide you with a ton of really useful information. So, Travis, thank you so much. I'm going to close it down now, but thank you for the call. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Cheers, Travis.
And let me just stop Travis here. Now, Tom, I don't see your video, but that's all right. I'll just, we have a picture of you at least.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the amazing session that you gave us. Really blown away by not just all the information, but also for you being willing to do it, first of all, and also staying on for an extra more than an hour to just answer questions. Sterling effort, as you'd say in England, right?
Yeah, very true.
But yeah, thank you very much.
No worries. It's been good. And I know that Google compliance might not be the juiciest of subjects, but it's one of those really important, essential areas that we need to go through. So I'm glad that people have found it useful, and we've had some good questions come through as well, which have been interesting. So hopefully it's provided a lot of value to people, and they can get their pages approved and their videos approved and make more money.
Yes, and probably worth just mentioning. We should have done this at the start. My apologies, Tom, but we'll do it under resources links as well for this interview. If you do want to check out what Tom is doing with his business, go to viewability.co.uk. That's his agency that he runs, but also check out his Tom Breeze website. I'm not sure, is that ready for people to check out, Tom?
It's not right now, but go there and have a look, and okay. You'll see not see too much, but later on, if you're watching this later, you'll get loads of stuff. So it's great.
Right, so it's going there now. So make sure you go to Viewability, but also tombreeze.com. Some cool stuff on there about to arrive about YouTube advertising, this sort of stuff. So make sure you check that out as well, please. All right. Hey, thanks, Tom, once again, and looking forward to doing this with you again sometime in the near future.
Definitely, Gideon. Good stuff, man.
All right, take care. All right, so thanks everybody for staying on for a whole 2 hours. We had actually the majority of people watch the whole 2 hours of this particular event. I think it's just testimony to the content that Tom gave us and also the topic, and Tom just being a great guy in general. But if you like this, there's going to be more of this stuff coming up. I will be interviewing some more people coming up in the future. There's an interview that I just did earlier this week that I'll publish a little bit later for you with Ryan Masters as well. But stay tuned. There's lots of cool stuff coming up. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you inside the next video. Bye-bye.